As I've been talking about for many months and trying to explain to people, because this is one of the changes in the electorate that are very similar to the demographic changes that now say there are more people under the age of 50 that are going to be voting than over the age of 50 that are going to be voting at the next election. The number of people who rent and rent only is growing. It is a significant number. In fact, there are three ways of dealing with how people live. You've either paid off your house, you're paying off your house, or you are renting. The Greens believe that, like they did in the 80s and 90s, they can use renting as the outside of their Trojan horse. The big idea to vote for them, when really what they want to achieve is all that lefty socialist, borderline communist garbage that they have been practicing ever since they told people, vote for us, it's the environment, but then suddenly it was all this other stuff. But have a look at a bunch of Labor-held seats where the Greens are very close, where if Liberal votes changed or independent votes or maybe even Labor people started to move somewhere else, the Greens would go in front of Labor and all the preferences would work against Labor, not for Labor. In the seat of Higgins, currently held by the Labor Party, it's close in terms of the primary vote. But then when you have a look at the demographics of renters versus mortgagees versus people paying it off, in the seat of Higgins, blue ribbon Liberal territory it used to be, 42% of the electorate is renting. So when the Greens are constantly talking about unrealistic solutions on renting, who might that appeal to? What about the seat of McNamara, where the primary vote for the Labor Party was 31 compared to the Greens' 29? Again, in the seat of McNamara, 52% of people in that seat are currently renting. Will all of them vote Green? No, but if the Greens are able to move people to an idea that will solve all of your rental problems, they might take another seat off Labor. What about the seat of Wills? This is one that, of course, the former Prime Minister Bob Hawke represented at one point in time. Then it went independent. Now it's been solidly Labor since. Now, remember, what it looks like there, it's the best part of 12 points. Remember, 1 point goes from one to another. Then basically you only have to halve that number and you end up with things getting a lot tighter. In the seat of Wills, 38% of people rent. Noticing a trend? In the seat of Richmond in New South Wales, 28% of people are renting. That is different than the 39% who own outright. But have a look at the numbers here, which is 28% Labor, 25% Greens, 23% Nationals. Which means in any scenario, if Labor's vote ended up going slightly down, preferences work against them and work for the Greens. It keeps going. Remember, the margin of error for the federal government is 2 seats, about being in minority or majority. We've just found 1, 2, 3, 4 that are on the shopping list. What about a 5th, the seat of Newcastle? Again, Labor well and truly in front when it comes to the primary vote, but if the Liberal vote started to fall, it would be the Greens that would end up being the beneficiary of preferences. 35% of that electorate rents. In the seat of Perth, we're now into 7 potential seats here. The Labor Party, 39% primary, Greens 22, Liberal 26, again a slight change where, say, the Greens got in front of the Liberal Party. What would happen? 37% of that seat rents. 8 seats.